Hi and welcome back. This is video 2 in our 4-part series on how to use regular standard access switches to make music with Ableton Live. If you haven't seen the first video, I recommend watching it. It's just that some of the techniques that we use in this video follow on from that. Great, so let's get started. So, as shown in the previous video, we have a single switch which is triggering playback of the note middle C. Now, to start generating chords, it's quite straightforward in Ableton, really. So if we go back to our MIDI effects, there is a chord effect. Now, there are several presets here. Let's double click on major chord. Now, if I trigger the switch, it's going to play the chord of C major. Fantastic. Now, it would be great to add some variety to that in terms of pitch. So what we can do is we can use the randomizer and scale effects to do just that. So again, within MIDI effects, let's bring up our random effect. Now, be sure to place this before the major chord in the signal chain. Let's turn this up to 100%, set the modes to alternate, choices to free, and then insert a scaler. Again, this needs to be before the chord object. I'm going to switch off all of the notes bar the first three. So what we should hear now, when I trigger the switch, is it's going to cycle between the major chords. The first one will be played on C, the second one will be played on C sharp, then the third on D. Great. Now we can now program particular chords to be played back in a particular order. So we know in the key of C that we have, or the major chords that we have would be C major, F major, and G major. So let's transpose our D sharp up to F, and our C sharp up to F, and then our D up to G. Fantastic. Now, if I were to set one of these notes to, I suppose, to a root note in C major, which doesn't have a major chord associated with it, then we'll start to introduce chords which are outside of the key, which can sound kind of cool. But if you want to stick within the key, what you can do is you can add a second scaler. So let's just load up the preset for C major on the scaler, and this is going to go after our chord effect. Now, in theory, when I trigger these three chords, we should have C major, F major, and then followed by E minor. Let's give it a go. Great. Now there's a useful feature on the scaler which is fold, and we can use this this can help us to, I suppose, artificially create chord voicings which are closer together. So at the moment everything is being transposed directly, which makes the chords sound quite far apart in terms of their voicings. So let's have a listen with the fold option activated. Yeah, interestingly, it's actually taken the F chord and inverted that, but it sounds perhaps a little bit more musical. Great. So you can see that we can start to build predictable chord sequences with this. So let's say we wanted to use more than 3 chords. We wanted to use 4 chords in our progression. All we would need to do is change choices up to 4, and this will give us a 4th note to work with, which will actually be D sharp. So these are our 4 original incoming notes. Now let's map these to a common chord progression. So let's do a 1 1 6 2 5. So C up to A, down to it's on D already, and then we want to finish on G. Brilliant. So that's how you can create chord progressions using a single switch. One last thing that you might want to experiment is the velocity effect. So this can help us at the moment when we're triggering our C note right at the very start of our I suppose flow of notes. It's always going to be at the same velocity, at the same loudness. So adding the velocity effect right at the end, we can start to kind of vary the velocity of the notes. So let's just dial up this random control and have a listen to that. Great, so thanks again for listening. Tune in to the next video where we'll take a look at sequencing techniques.